Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was muted. Thanks, Gutman Show, and hi. That might explain things. But yeah, so I'm doing like a chill stream today. I didn't promote it in the chat or anything, but I think I may do this later down the road. Yeah, so I'm working on this overlay, which is below me. I have a camera now, and then I want to be able to configure it nicely. So, Angular Magic. Right, so I'll let stream. Um, yeah, I just want to keep it in English. I can like translate if somebody speaks Russian, but like if somebody who speaks English joins, I don't want them to be confused, because like if you speak Russian, it's very likely that you understand English, but not the other way. If you speak English, then you probably don't know Russian. I mean, if you don't understand me, let me know. I can say the same in Russian. That's a problem. Okay, so I'm. Okay. Oh, I see. I'm missing value changes. Interesting experiment. Yeah, and you can speak Russian in the chat. That's okay. I'll just translate for other people. Right. So we iterate over the thing, and then we get a stream, and I'll just output the whole thing, and let's see what we get. Nothing. Oh yeah, it's this is very small. This is very small. Oh, I know what's going on. I'm in the wrong component. So I'm going to the admin module, and then the admin module has where is it? Yeah, waiting screen editor. So this is where I want to paste this thing. Right. And I can, oh, here you go. I can make this smaller. Now I can see like the list of all things. So now I can display it nicely. So I have two previews. This is the one which is shown on the screen, like on the stream. I think this one. Before, basically before I start streaming. I didn't do that today. And this is the one which I use to promote it in like chat and other places. So I'm gonna show one of them. I'm gonna show probably this one. Okay, this one has a title. Alright, I'll show this one, the bottom one. It has the title, and it also has the points of like what specifically I'm gonna work on. I think that's what I need. Let me see what I'm doing here. So I call it up announce. I'll just throw it in here and see how it looks like. Here you go. That looks good. I think it's flexbox time, so we can horizontally align all those things. I'll style the host element, the thing which wraps everything, and I just say flex, display flexbox. Alright, so now we have those things on the left, and then you can edit them on the right. I'm also going to add a class name for it, which would be, what is this? Streams, because we show the list of streams. And for this class name, I'll make up announce really small. I'm going to use zoom here, and then the zoom would be 0.1. And I'll add the display block so you can do some spacing between them. So let me do margin bottom 20 pixels, and I need display block to achieve that, otherwise it won't work. Here you go. and then here I'll give a class name for this div. Right here I'll just call it stream, and I think zoom affects this margin right here, but if I put it on a single stream, that won't be an issue. And for the actual list of streams, I want to add some padding right here. Let's say 16. Boom. That's nice. So now I can change the color of the stream. So it works. I think it looks good enough. I can see what's there. The only problem is right now we just display up announce. We don't pass anything, and it uses what's in the service to display it. Let's see what exactly it does. So it what? So it takes waiting servers, and it literally does 0 things in the component. And then in the template, for some reason it uses stream color, stream name. So it uses all those stream things, but where does... Oh, here you go. So I'll just ngif on the stream. Space Green Cat says, hi, there are very few people who speak English who watch you. Can you switch back to Russian? I think for now I want to practice a little bit because I do have some plans how to attract the audience, because I organized the Angular meetup, which has like 8,000 people, and I think if I start promoting there I would get some followers. But once before getting there, I first wanna have some practice streaming in English, because it's not I mean, it takes some time to adapt. So yeah. But again, if something I say you don't understand, I'm happy to translate it for you. Okay, yeah. I think it's hard to say, because I'm obviously new to streaming. I'm still figuring it out. From what I've seen, the most attention gets streams where I either invite somebody or we just talk on some lighter topics, like, oh, what's the best state management? How do I do this? Or just like answer questions or something. Oh, interesting. So Twitch almost doesn't promote new streamers. It sucks. But I mean, I also can see that, because there are like so many people trying to stream, and like, how do you know who to promote? But it's okay. So Space Cat says now it's a bit better than like a year ago. That's good to hear. I think I'll. Oh, so it was even worse. Interesting. I do get plenty of people coming somehow. Of course, they're like not 100 people, but there are like 70-80 people sometimes come from Twitch, from the browse page, or maybe that's how I interpret the analytics page. I'll have to figure this out. So on the announce component, instead of using waiting service, I'm gonna just take a stream as an input. Yeah, I'm yet to figure out like how I wanna deal with all this streaming. Like, is that something I wanna invest lots of time and energy on, or is that something I just do for fun? And what the interest is. Well, I think like the biggest thing I'm a bit confused right now is people like kind of like chiller topics, and if I just work on something, it doesn't attract that many people. But on the other hand, what I want to do is actually work on something. On the other hand, I do see like there was this team with the dude writing the game, and actually gets plenty of viewers. So I think like the most viewers get people who are like, oh, today I'm starting a new project. What do you want to implement? But all right, stream. I think there is some audience for people who just like work on stuff. Alright, so I take stream as a UI stream. I don't need no waiting service anymore, but I do need to pass the stream. Yes, on yesterday's stream I finally deployed the thing, so the whole screen doesn't get broken, which is nice. If something gets broken. Alright, so now I need to pass the stream to app announce. Let's stream. Okay, so I pass a stream here. And I pass the stream here. Is it called stream? Yeah, it's just called stream. Alright, this should work, at least in my head. Property stream has no initial either. Yeah, okay, I'll just say put exclamation mark. Have I seen a documentary on Pepe? Is it like the frog? Or is it what's Pepe? Okay, stream equals stream. So now we have different streams. And then if I change the color, it changes immediately here, which is pretty cool. Now I want them to be clickable. And maybe I want to only show a few of them at a time. But that's okay. That's good for now. For now I just want them to be clickable. How do I do that? Okay, so instead of having one latest stream, I'll just use all streams. Alright, so there is a documentary about the frog, and it calls Feels Good Man, and there is really good story. That's cool. I'll put it in my to watch list. Let me just throw it in YouTube. Is it on YouTube? There's a trailer. Oh yeah, okay. It's 1 hour about Pepe the Frog. That's funny. I'll check it out. It's on YouTube. I don't know if it's a legal version because it only has 500 views, but it sounds interesting. So I only want to show one at a time. But how do I know which one? Right, that's the question. So I can use index and just show and update this index on click. So selected stream, new behavior subject from 0, and then latest stream. Hey, what happened? Oh, I keep doing const instead of read only. It should be selected stream index. And then for latest stream, oh, it's in the waiting service. So I don't need no latest stream anymore. Let me see where it's used. So I'll keep the latest stream, but I'll use all stream. So I only need it here. So I'll just combine latest all streams and this thing. So read only current stream equals this waiting service. Yeah, I watched the documentary about Vue.js yesterday, and I watched the one about Ember. That was kind of interesting. But I didn't like how they, in the Ember documentary, they were all like, oh, this is the thing, like this is the best thing ever. Like it's just another framework. I don't know why people think that Ember solves something which other frameworks don't solve. Like they all do like exactly the same thing in pretty much exactly the same way. So Space Gun Cat wants more documentaries about technologies. Yeah, I think it's cool when there are people who care about your field and create like, what's this thing called, like the people who Honeypot, I think they create like very high quality documentaries. Like they have a cameraman running around. It's not just a dude with a smartphone like I would do. It's like really solid high quality stuff. And I think it feels very empowering if you see that, like, oh, I use the framework and there is somebody who is creating like a documentary about it. Cool. So I pipe over this thing and I say I need to import map, which will take all streams and index, and it will just return all streams of index. I forgot to return. Alright. And now I need to use it. Here. Current stream. So now when I click one of those, I need to unclick. Next, the behavior subject. Current slide. Forgot how I called it. Selected slide index. Next. And then I just pass the index. I think instead I should use the key. It should not be index, it should be key. Key. Let's see. And then I just go with like stream.key. And now it complains. Okay, so initially it has no key, just empty key. So it can be behavior subject of string or undefined. And then initially it's undefined. That sounds fair. And here, I'll just throw in a debugger here. Okay. Why is it complaining about it? Alright, I'll just return all streams 0. Maybe it's just not happy about types. What affected me most as a professional? Books, courses, technologies, or maybe work? I think it's all together. I don't think it's like one specific thing. I think there was one thing which affected the way I communicate a lot, and few years ago, I signed up for this program to teach kids at school, and those were kids from underrepresented communities, and they didn't have much money, and they were just like kids who been in the country for less than 2 or 3 years, so their language was not great, and their like a lot of things about. I mean, they were nice kids, but their skills were not there yet, and we were trying to teach them HTML and CSS, and that was like very very challenging because like they didn't know. Like the first thing we asked them is like open your laptop and right click, and they have MacBooks, and how do you right click on MacBook is like you have to use 2 fingers or something. Let me check. Yeah, you have to use 2 fingers, but they had no idea. Like some of them haven't seen laptop before, and we tried to teach them stuff, and it was very hard in the middle of the semester. So it's like 5 months through, I explain something, and I say, and then user clicks that, and then user does that, and I stop and I say, hey, do you know what user is? And they're like, nope. And just knowing that like some of them don't know what the word user means in the middle of the semester was kind of mind-blowing. Yeah, so explaining things is hard, and I think, yeah. Yeah, so Space Cat says, yeah, you need to do all this together because just working without a theory becomes in just monotonous repetition of well-known patterns. I don't know how to translate in English, but the point is like you have to have both theory and practice. But practice, you forget it. Yeah, you forget stuff without theory, which yeah, I can relate to it. I read like books about Haskell and Erlang and I think even Elixir and Clojure and whatnot, and I don't remember anything. I think those are cool languages. I think they transformed my thinking, but like I would not be able to use any of them anymore, just because it's been like a few years ago. So yeah, I guess you just have to do a little bit at a time and not be afraid of things, just to try new things. Which, I'm also something I want to figure out for this stream. Like, do I want to go and try different stuff here, or do I just want to keep doing like Angular stuff and things? Alright, so I'm searching for streams, and I'm saying if stream, what do we have in the stream? Date, color, description, name, stream date. So we don't have a key on the stream. And this is because in the value changes, we need, did I use first Angular? Yeah, a little bit. So I was working for consultancy at the moment, and we've been doing lots of Backbone, and then Angular became hyped, and I was kind of fighting for getting on an Angular project, like AngularJS at the time. And I had a small Angular project, and then I went back to Backbone, and then I did some React, and then yeah, and then I basically changed work, and it was Angular on the way after that. But I think Angular 1, I don't want to call it like revolutionary, because there were other things which were doing the same. Yeah, so Space Cat said that he had a project on the first version of Angular, and he had very mixed feelings. I think it's a similar thing to Internet Explorer. Like at some point, Internet Explorer was a very very good browser, and all the new versions were like changing experience and improving it, and they were really good. And at some point, Internet Explorer 6 was like an amazing browser which people loved. Like I personally loved it, and I would use it over like I think it was Netscape at that point, or don't even remember, before Firefox. Yeah, I think it was like Netscape Navigator, and Internet Explorer was just better. But then over time, other browsers evolved and Internet Explorer did not. And I think similar things happened to Angular. Like it was very good in the beginning because it brought data binding, which like it was in other frameworks, like I think whatever was Ember before. There was how's it called? Like there were like few frameworks which did data binding, but none of them were as big as Angular. So Angular kind of popularized this approach. But yeah, it was cool to use Angular at that point. Just later we have so much better options that nobody wants to go AngularJS anymore. Alright, so let me refresh that. So I have all streams and they have keys. So I'm going to search for stream key equals index. I don't want to call it index anymore. I just want to call it key. And then if it's not there, then I just return the first element. Here you go. So now when I click on this stream, I get it in the observable. Where do I put it now? In the component. Like this. I'm renaming index to key. And I return this. Hey Dan. Oh, Dan still loves AngularJS. That's nice. Aha, that seems to work. Now I need to fix saving stuff. Let me see. So I have update stream. Oh, that should work. That should just work by itself. Let's see. Right? Nice. Hello world. Highlights. Ah, that works. So Space Green Cat says that some people think that AngularJS is complicated, but for him it was like enough. Just one evening was enough to catch up and be productive. And Dan says that the only thing it's missing is good type checking and templates like in Angular. I mean, I think the problem with AngularJS is there were like lots of inconsistency and there was lots of magic. There was like in directive you can use add character for inputs, it means one thing. You can use equals, it means other thing, and it can use greater than or less than, and all of them mean something which you basically have to look up every time you use. I guess once you learn all those weird things, you can be fairly productive. But this is what brings the learning curve there. Aha. So that's good. That seems to work. I'm gonna commit this. Allow display list of display the list of stream configs and allow to open one. Good enough. Oh no. Cancel. Okay. It wanted to commit some other projects. Alright, I'm committing this. So this is good. So now I should be able to, let me see if I still can edit this stuff. So I say test. Yeah, and that just appeared under my face. That's pretty cool. So that continues to work. So now what I'm basically missing, actually let me make this input longer. Uh-huh. Where are the styles for it? I'm slowly getting used to this shortcut to jump between component test and styles and things. I kept using like the previous, like whatever I did before, but I think I'm getting better at it. All right. So now I want to make input type equals text. I want to make it with oh. Dan says so in one project they only use one-way bindings and something similar to output, and you don't need anything else. I think that makes sense. I don't think you need all this magic, but that's something that people did not understand at the age of AngularJS, because when you start you want to do this, you want to do that, and eventually we evolved to simplicity where we can do it in a simple way. Yeah, Dan says that yesterday he wasn't able to remember that shortcut, and that's how his work week ended. Okay, it's Control Command Up. It seems to work pretty well for me. Triple selector nesting. The shortcut, yeah, I mean the shortcut. I personally like this. I know there are some performance considerations which probably don't apply for the case where you only have one instance of selectors, but I think that replicating DOM structure in CSS, at least for me, it makes it easier to edit things. Like ideally I would just nest everything if I had like lots of time to do it properly. But I also like, I don't know that many people who hate it. Like I do it on at my work project, and I see other people doing it, and I think that's fine. Windows users are disappointed. Well, so there is somebody who is doing 10x selector nesting, and Space Green Cat has been trying to convince them for 1 month to start doing flat. I don't know the value, especially in. Does this person use Angular? Alright, meanwhile, so I have this stream working on stream overlay. So what I wanna do is, let me add the checkbox. Generating an image with the announcement. Right. So what I wanna do is, yes, Angular solves the style isolation problem like any good framework. I agree. I support that. So what I want is, I want to turn this into an image, which I think I even have a library for this. I think it's DOM2 image. It's in different projects, so I'll have to install it here. Hope it still works. Dan says that I have a very unique screen resolution, which is 864p. Am I trying to solve performance issues? Actually, no. That's weird, because I look in my OBS settings and it says I have 1920 by 1080. So I don't know what the issue is there. I was speaking. There was like meetup today for like junior something chat or something, and then oh yes, maybe I think you're right. Yes, let me change that. Yes. I'm gonna stop the stream and come back in 5 seconds. I want to change that. And then I explain what happens. Restarting the stream. Alright, I should be back. Huh. Interesting. I think Twitch thinks I'm still streaming. Huh. Interesting. I think no, Twitch. No. Okay. All right, that's good. Yeah. So what happened here is in the morning, I was speaking on the meetup, and I was like, I'm gonna use OBS output for my camera, so that I can display all this like sidebar on the right and all the meta information and my face on the same screen, which I think is pretty cool. So I was going to stream into Zoom, and that turned out to be not that hard, but it took some configuration, and eventually it looks like Zoom and Meet and like all of them scale down your camera resolution. I don't know why. But so I was playing with settings, and I forgot basically to bring them back to original values. Let me know if it's good now. But I found the solution, and in Zoom, when you share your screen, you can say share another camera in like somewhere in advanced settings, and then this does not get scaled down. So I learned something cool today. It was pretty cool. I'm gonna do it on like next time I speak on like Google Meet. I'm gonna play with it too. Sounds interesting. So what I'm gonna do is when I click on this image, it becomes becomes a PNG. So the meetup is there is a Russian junior / middle chat, and every week they do like a quick meetup. And I was talking. I had like an old talk which I gave like many years ago, but I thought it was a fun talk. It was about solving a code war problem. I can probably do a quick demo of that. Yeah, so there is this kata on code wars, which is kind of like lead code, where one had to figure out what the result of tic-tac-toe game was. And then X were represented as 1, O's as 2. So if X won 3 in a row, then you returned 1. If O's won, you return 2. And then if there is a draw, you return 0. And if the game is still in progress, then you return -1. And then, so naive approach would be just, I'm not gonna go in detail, but have a bunch of ifs. Do we have a horizontal match? Do we have a vertical match? Do we have a diagonal match? And then that's kind of lots of code for such a simple task. And then there was like some person who created like a 10 pages solution which didn't even like fit here. And then I was saying if you use transpose, you can basically rotate the thing 90 degrees, and then instead of vertical match you can check horizontal match, and same thing with diagonal. And then I was talking about bit masks. So you take all the X position and you turn it into binary number, and then you end it with some other pattern. So here, for example, we have 3 in a row on the first row, and that's number 7. Here we have 3 in a row on the second row, which is number 6. So we just AND them, and if any of them have all the ones in the right place, it will be a match. Kind of here we have a diagonal pattern, and it matches this. And then the solution from my side was like, how about we use regular expressions? And at first it sounds kind of like, seriously, like you have a problem, you bring regex, you get two problems now. And let me show you. So we take the board, we convert it to a string, because regex works on strings, and it looks like this. And then how would horizontal match look like? Well, it's easy. If there is 1 1 1 anywhere, then x won. If there is 2 2 2 anywhere, well, then oops won. So that's it. What about vertical match? It's the same, but we skip 3 things. Right, so this is how we get vertical match. How about a diagonal match? It's the same, we just skip more things. So here we take this one, we skip the dash, then we take this one. So that's basically it. And how do we know if the match is still in progress? Well, we look if there is a 0. That's basically what we've been doing before. So this is the whole solution for the thing. And like generally, yes, regex often add more problems, but like this is the kind of code I would easily support, because like once you look at it, it's like very clear what's going on here. And sometimes regex is actually like, even in a non-standard usage, is not like a terrible thing. That's the, I guess that's what I wanted to tell people with this thing. And then there is I just randomly pulled up a lead code problem number like 42, which I assume is like a pretty popular problem. I know it's been asked in Twitter, and you can also do this with regex. Probably if you ever get interviewed in Twitter, you shouldn't say like, oh, let me solve it with the regex. But if you mention that would be like a good bonus. And yeah, so that was the presentation. I just spoke much slower and didn't skip things. And yeah, this solution on CodeWars, I don't use it much anymore, but I would come once in a while, and there are like always new comments there. So I wanted to share it. Right. So it's time for DOM to image. Let me see how I'm supposed to use it. To image. Okay, so we import it. Waiting screen editor. Right, I'll add the button and I'll just call it download. And then on click, I would say download image. I'm create. Yeah, wait for a second, and I'll create the thing. Space Green Cat says that it's an interesting approach, but I have a genetic fear of regular expressions. Yeah, I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I love regular expressions, and I think like once you understand them really well, you just feel where it's not the right place. Like I don't know, like you would probably never parse XML with regular expressions, because you feel initially like there is so many edge cases. I have a talk where I try to find, I don't know if it's okay, my website actually is dead, but I have a talk where I try to find console log in the code with regular expressions, like literally this console log. And then there are like lots of edge cases there. What if there is like space somewhere? What if there is a line break? I found like 17 edge cases, and I was able to solve them with like one giant regular expression. And the goal of the talk was basically to say like use abstract syntax trees, don't use regular expressions. But like once you go through this exercise, you kind of start feeling where regular expressions are good and where regular expressions are not good. So okay, so up announce. I give this announce and I pass it to download image. Let's see what's there. Announce. I'll just say any for now. Throw in debugger. So yeah, I would say instead of being afraid of regular expressions, just learn how to use them. Could not find the declaration file. I need to install types if they exist. Let's see. Hey. I also played yesterday. Oh no, actually today with Twitch API, and I was able to get like a list of followers. So I need to figure out how to get like the new follower, and I'll need to figure out how to test it without like having to follow and unfollow. Space Green Cat says they're usually written in such a complicated way that you need to get drunk to understand them. And since Space Green Cat doesn't drink, I also don't drink alcohol. Yeah, you'll be screwed. Did I try closing terminal while coding to get more comfortable view? Let me try. Let me do it right now. Let me... Oh, so much space. So much space. Make it a bit larger. Alright. So we get announce. What's this? Oh, so I get the component instance. Angular get a reference to element from template. Maybe I can do like but this is weird. Okay, let me do this. I'll take this announce thing and I just throw it on a div. I can even toggle the sidebar. Let me do that. I usually end up needing it and then I never close it.